G'day guys and girls, thanks for joining me once again on Self-Made. I just wrapped up my podcast interview with Jim Penman. I was so stoked to be able to get him on the podcast and talk to him. He is an absolute beaker of wisdom. He's 72 years old, or I should say 72 years young, and you just would not believe it from talking to him. He's still sharp as a tack. He's still very much hands-on in the business. He's still very involved, and he said himself he's got another 20 years left in him. So that podcast will be out right after this one on Wednesday. The 6th of May. So if you're listening to this in the future, it's already out. But I just wanted to do a little episode before just to tease it a bit, to build up a bit of hype and also just give context for what we kind of talked about. So Jim and I had an hour and a half to chat. We talked a lot about franchising, of course, because he is the guy for franchising. He's arguably the most famous franchisor in the country, maybe even the world at this point, because he is worldwide now. But just incredible story from nothing but a lawnmower and $27 in his pocket to over $500 million a year in revenue. The Jim's group, I'm sure, is now worth in excess of $1 billion. But just an incredible guy to talk to, very straight down the line, and you'll see in that podcast, he's just a very blunt, but he's not mean. He's just very blunt. He's very straight to the point, and that's his type of energy and demeanor. But very, very great talking to him. And I knew a bit about him, and obviously I've done my research on him and I've followed his journey for a while, but I didn't realize just how good he was at what he does. He is really passionate, not only about business itself, but he's really passionate about his people, which I really admired. And it spoke words to me because I try to be like that. I try to put people first and people try to tell me, like someone was messaging me today. I'm going to read this message. It was so funny. Someone messaged me and they said, sorry, let me just scroll up and find it. It was really funny. They asked me, serious question and no judgment. Are you like a Patrick Bateman sociopath in the cleaning industry? I'm like, no, I genuinely care about helping people. Like as crazy and as unrealistic and as fake as that sounds, that's me. And Jim Penman is that to a T. So Jim started mowing lawns when he was a uni student back in the 80s, and he turned it into a business with 5,000 franchises worldwide that now does $500 million a year. So everyone knows that. Everyone's seen his face. Everyone's seen the logo. Everyone's seen the vehicles. But he really did have the most humble beginnings. And from day one, he was so hell-bent on creating something new, creating something innovative. He talked about when he was doing lawns, no one was doing, like edges. That wasn't really a thing. People would go and mow the lawn. They wouldn't really I don't know much about lawn mowing, but they wouldn't do edges. I don't know. That was a thing back then. And he walked into a hardware store one day and he saw this brand new machine, this brand new piece of equipment that was like an edge machine. And it was like multiple thousands of dollars at the time, which was a lot of money back then. And he took a chance on it because he just wanted to be different. He wanted to be better than the rest. So he started edging grass, which is something that no one cared about at the time and no one even dared to do. No one cared to do. And from day one, he adopted that mindset and that mentality of, I'm going to be different, I'm going to be better, and this is who I am. And Jim very much has a culture over everything kind of attitude. The Jim's group is the most franchisee first model I've ever seen. They've got direct access to the CEO. Literally all 5,000 of his franchisees across the world have direct access to him. So they can call him at any time. But do they? No, they don't, because the system is run so smoothly. Every now and then he will talk to people, and there's even a system in place where if a franchisee's customer, this is how far down it goes, if a franchisee's customer, let's just say Jim's mowing Toorak in Melbourne, if one of their customers is unhappy and the franchisee can't solve it, it then goes to the franchisor. If the franchisor can't solve it, it goes straight to Jim himself. And Jim Penman himself will talk to a disgruntled or unhappy or unsatisfied customer. It's just insane. The Jim's franchisees, they have veto power, and they even have the power to vote out franchisors, bad leaders. It's just they have so much power. I didn't realize just how franchisee first his model was, but it's very, very, he's built a servant leadership culture that most businesses can only dream of or wouldn't even dare to think about. So it's very, very admirable as someone who tries to adopt the people first mindset, not the profit first mindset, which a lot of people seem to talk about. I really respect that. And yeah, he's a very big ethics over profits kind of guy. He's anti-RFG. He's pro-people. He refuses to exploit franchisees, even if it costs him profit. And he intentionally made his business worth less to protect it from being sold to the wrong people, which you're going to find out in that episode as well. We dug deep on why chasing money makes you miserable, and how giving it back to a true path or a true cause, a real purpose is going to bring you real fulfillment in your life. Because I know a lot of rich people, a lot of business owners that are much, much bigger than me, and they're just unhappy all the time. And I'm like, well, what would make you happy? And they're like, I don't know, maybe when I get to this next goal of mine. And it's always a financial figure. I've got a friend he's a franchisor as well. He's in the education business. He sold like 60 franchises. And he called me and he's like, mate, I think I'm depressed. And I was like, well, what's the issue? He's like, I'm not happy. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. All I know is that I want to take this to $1 billion. I want to build $1 billion business. I'm like, do you think that would make you happy? And he's like, probably not. I'm just going to have the same problem. It's just going to be bigger and amplified by the amount of money I got. So, but me, I'm a lot smaller than my friend, and especially a guy like Jim. But I have found happiness in what I do. I've found real cause and real purpose, which brings me fulfillment and gets me out of bed. So that's really important. We dove into that a little bit. And, I asked him about his take on wealth in general and family and purpose. And all of that stuff is really going to stick to you, and it's really going to speak magnitudes to you. It's really, really inspiring stuff. We talked about the future as well. So despite him being, 72, and like I said, you just wouldn't believe it. He is as sharp as a tack and very young in spirit and at heart. Jim's not slowing down. He's spending millions on AI, technology, and even scientific research, which is just crazy. He told me that the Jim's Group is spending millions of dollars a year developing new software for their franchisees. So that was really interesting to talk about as well. And there's just lots and lots of lessons for every business owner, even if you're not a franchise owner, if you're not someone that's ever going to franchise, which I assume is most of the people listening to this. There's still so many great takeaways in this episode that you'll be able to have. He talked about how he grades franchisees and how you can take that and look at it from the perspective of a business owner. He says he's got people that he rates a gold, so people that he categorizes as gold. He's got silvers, he's got bronze, and he's got lead. Now, the lead are the people who just cannot help themselves. They're people who don't want to help themselves. They're not going anywhere. And he said people that are gold, like myself, they're like, the 5-10% of business owners, even without a franchise system, they're going to succeed because they just have a knack for it. And then, you got the average majority, which is the silver. And yeah, we go into that. He's got interesting ways of measuring and tracking things in his business. He is, I talk about knowing your numbers. This guy knows his numbers on a crazy level. He even split tests like what days and what times are the best to advertise on. He was split testing how many meetings is the most effective, like how many team meetings or how often you should have a team meeting for it to become effective, or at what point it becomes less effective. He said having a monthly team meeting was worse than having one every 6 weeks. So now they have a team meeting every 6 weeks, or they have an address every 6 weeks. He said, every couple of months they have a big expo where all the franchisees can come and ask Jim questions. And he split tested like how often or how not often they should be doing that. And just so many different things that he split tested. Even like they were measuring what the most optimal time frame to call back a customer was. And they ended up finding that if you call back within 10 minutes, you have, believe it or not, a massive percentage increase in conversions as opposed to calling them back within 2 hours. And if you call them back in more than 2 hours, like under 24 or 48 hours, you've pretty much got a 0% chance of getting that customer. So very, very numbers focused, which is what I love. As you know, if you've been listening to me for a while, I'm very big on numbers, and just an incredible, incredible guy with a lot of great insight. And, he might not come across as that, some people might not agree with a lot of stuff he says. Some people, it just might not be for you, and that's okay. But for me, it was a great episode. I think for a lot of people listening, it's going to really, really speak volumes to you, and it's going to be really insightful and really impactful. So you can, this is a guy who considers himself lazy, by the way. He told me in the episode, like, he's a lazy guy. I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. He's very humble. He's got a very inspiring story, and I'm excited to share that with you. So that will be out in a few days if you're listening to this in the present moment. It'll be out on Wednesday, and It's going to be a great episode. Would really appreciate the feedback on that because I'm so stoked to have such an amazing guest on. Like I said, I mean, if you're in Australia, you know the cultural significance of the Jim's group. Everyone knows who it is. Everyone has a childhood memory of like Jim's mowing coming to their house, or Jim's pool cleaning, or Jim's gutter cleaning, or I don't know, maybe Jim's bookkeeping or Jim's pole dancing. So yeah, very big pop culture figure in Australia for sure. I can't believe I got him on the podcast. What a guest to have on. And yeah, I hopefully the feedback is great. Go blow Jim's page up and say that episode was great. That was amazing. Love to hear all that stuff. And yeah, let me know what you think of that episode, and I'll try to get even more big names on here because I'm fortunate enough to be able to have that pull. I've got quite a platform myself, and I want to use it for good. I want to interview cool people. I want to talk to people with amazing stories, whether it be, financial success or hardship that people have gone through. I would love to talk to more people of that caliber of expertise and experience and notoriety. So with that being said, I am really, really pleased and stoked to be able to share that episode with you. And I'm really, really happy that we got that done because it's really hard, I'm a busy person. He is obviously a very, very busy person. It's hard to lock some people down. So it's a great get. And like I said, if you enjoyed that episode, please do let us know because it's going to give us that feedback loop and it's going to reinforce what I'm doing and hopefully build the audience even more so I can get even more big names in and give more value back to you, the listener. Because like I said, and like Jim says, I like to put people first. So in my business, I'm putting my cleaners and my customers first. In my podcast, I'm doing very much the same. I'm putting you, the listener, first. I'm not doing this because I want to do it. Obviously, I want to talk to Jim and it's an amazing experience, but I want my listeners to have a really great experience that they're not going to forget, that they're going to have things that they can take away, things they can learn from, things that they can put in the back pocket and save for later and be like, that's a great piece of advice. That's a great nugget. I can use that in my business or in my life or whatever. So thank you so much for listening. Really, really grateful for the opportunity and look forward to that episode.